This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the second season of The Last of Us, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and take a look back at Tom Cruise's crazy career, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, May 26th, 2025.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh, what's up? Hello, listener. Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, he's a MacGuffin wrapped inside a plot device that's nestled inside another MacGuffin. He does all his own stunts. Some know him as Ethan Hunt's brother, Mike, but we call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
You forgot to mention that I don't like to look at people when I have sex with them, and they call me Missionary Impossible.
He's Missionary Impossible.
Yeah.
He'll never look at you.
Only from the back.
He can't do missionary. It's a thing
Yeah.
with his hips and arthritis.
I just don't like to look into the eyes of people who are
that
what
also.
I'm doing.
He's very shameful.
Yes, so I'm very embarrassed about myself.
No eye contact, please.
Yes, yes.
I paid extra for that. So now we know a little bit about Rug Boy's proclivities.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
I know what the rabbit's foot is.
Oh, I'll show you. He's got a rabbit's foot for you. Right in his slack hole. Anyways, more about MacGuffins and plot devices later.
Do you think, let me ask you a quick question about MacGuffins and slack holes.
Yeah.
You think the listeners, at this point, I don't know that we're acquiring any new listeners, but let's say we are.
Zero.
Let's say a new listener comes on, this is their first episode, and they just hear Imran throwing slack hole out there and all that. You think that listener is going to be like, you think they keep listening, or do you think they just stop right there?
I see it as like a Marvel movie. You got to do a little bit of homework. You got to go back and read all the side issues. Listen
How much homework do you think they need to go to do?
Honestly,
they need to do to understand what just happened there.
I say a couple episodes. I don't know.
I mean, he's got a point.
Well, for the new listener, let's explain everything we just said.
Like in the movie that we're about to review.
Yes, or we could be like the Mission Impossible, where we'll just show you everything that happened in the last 30 years. Don't worry.
You're just going to intercut clips of.
Hey, I'm a puppet. And I have a slack hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know when the guy puts a hand in the puppet? That's called a slack hole.
Right. So for the new listener, Rug Boy is an actual felty American. He's a puppet, and we make dick jokes to start the show. Now you're caught up. Great.
Is he a furry American or a felty American?
Oh no, he's a felty American. The furry American.
I
That's
fucking
very
hate
different.
furry.
Yeah, that's a very different. That's a very different group of people. You can't
All right,
just.
yeah. It crossed my mind as you went through that whole bit.
They mock me.
It's a good question. If you're a new listener, let us know how you feel. In the meantime, we're going to get started. Here we go.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
All right, we're going to keep it nice and focused. Two big things to review. Two fun, geeky genre things. The first one being The Last of Us Season 2. With the finale just aired last night. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
I just saw some viewership data. Season 2 the finale pulled in 3.7 million viewers across all platforms, Variety was reporting, which is 30% down from the Season 2 premiere episode, which pulled in 5.3 million viewers back in April. So, I don't know. Joel died. A lot of people jumped. I don't know. But they do say Season 2 is overall outperforming Season 1. 37 million viewers per episode average, up from 32 of Season 1. So, after 90 days, those are the numbers. Not bad. Anthony, do you, let's start it like this. Do you want to, you don't have to recap, but how about give us some of your thoughts, favorite moments leading up to the finale from episodes 2 through 6, kind of the big things that happened that are important.
What am I doing? Am I doing a recap or am I telling you my favorite moments?
Sort of a recap. Yes, let's just do recap.
A recap?
Yeah.
Well, for those of you that haven't been listening to us or watching Last of Us, let's just get you really quickly up to speed. It's about 5 years after the last season. They're living in Jackson, Wyoming in a community. Joel and Ellie have grown apart as she's gotten older for reasons. When this happens, there happens to be a horde of zombies that have gotten smarter that invade the village. While that's happening, Joel is out on patrol and gets hunted down by Abby and her crew. This crew is hunting him because Joel, from the first season, killed all the Fireflies, including a doctor that was Abby's father in cold blood to save Ellie. And thus, they hunt and kill Joel in front of Ellie's eyes. Because of this, a year after that, Ellie goes on a revenge tour with her lesbian friend, Isabella Merced.
It's only
I forget
3 months later, actually. It's not
there you go. 3 months later.
Yeah.
They go on a lesbian tour, a lesbian love tour, and try to hunt down Abby for revenge in Seattle. During this tour, we find out that Diana is pregnant with I forget the guy's name, the Asian guy. Who? Jesse's son.
Yeah.
But it'll be all of their kid. They're in love. So now Ellie's fighting for more than just revenge. We get a flashback and find out that Ellie hates Joel, or was hating Joel because, one, she was a teenager going through hormones. Two, she always suspected that Joel was lying to her. She finds out that Joel was lying to her on a mission where he kills a infected person that wanted to see his wife before she died. Yeah. He died and he didn't let it happen. But we end that episode with Ellie saying she's going to try to forgive him. And now we're in Seattle and Ellie is on the hunt and she has tortured one person to find out where Abby is, the killer of Joel. And we start this episode with her hunting hunting Abby in the midst of Seattle, who is also in a war. Abby's part of the Wolves, and they're at war with these religious zealot people that live in the forest.
The Seraphites, who have fired an arrow into...
Did I recap that well enough, Run, or do you want to narrate 6 episodes before this?
That's everything.
Okay, good.
Dina has an arrow in her leg, and Ellie goes off to find Nora, and that's where the main present storyline had stopped. What'd you think of the show so far, leading up to 7? Then, Anthony,
I've for the most part have enjoyed it. I found Ellie to be annoying at first, but then I thought it was nice that we got that flashback episode, and it filled me in a little bit more on Ellie's perspective on all of this and why she's gotten annoying and her relationship with Joel. I thought overall I've liked the season. If you followed the game, you'll know that the game is very polarizing amongst fans. So I'd imagine the show is probably also very polarizing. Not as polarizing, but I'm sure there's people that jumped off after the death of Joel. And the end of this episode, I'm sure there's people that are also going to be like, well, fuck this. I'm not watching this, because it mimics the game in what's happening and how this episode ends. And now you're going to get the perspective of a character that you probably did not want to get the perspective of, but it's going to do that to you.
Yeah, I mean, they've changed a number of things, but then also kept a number of things exactly the same. Ruggs, how you been digging this season so far overall?
Well, I think that's because I never played the second game.
Yeah.
I didn't have any notions of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, but knowing now what happens, and knowing now that not only that when it came out in video game form, people did not like it. In fact, that was one of the reasons The Last of Us 2 kind of lost a lot of credibility, was because of that change. And I'm surprised that they decided to stick with it, like killing off Joel.
Yeah.
So, I am kind of mystified to where they change things all the time, and they're like, we need to make it better, but then they decide to stick to this thing that they decide to do. But you know what? I like it when it's accurate to the source material, so I can't penalize them for it, because I actually prefer things to remain even if they're controversial as they were in the original. I like the show.
Yeah.
I like the show. It's good. I do feel like they're losing the plot either way. Like if I'm criticizing this, I'm criticizing the Last of Us 2 game. You completely forget about these clickers.
Yeah.
Because they become this thing that doesn't really, not only have they, I think they made the mistake of making them all too powerful now.
Yeah.
And overwhelming.
Yeah.
That you can't afford to not think about them now, but they do not think about them. So it's very confusing. You've made them this thing that's like a big deal. Like now they're in the air. They're smart. They fucking know shit. They can get through. And now when we just stop talking about them and we're looking at something else now.
I mean, how many scenes did we get really with the clickers this season? Of course, that whole episode 2, the frozen horde, was amazing.
After that,
it was just a little bit of these stalker clickers
disappear.
And a couple of, they get caught in the warehouse in Seattle and you see them there, but
yeah, you get to see the spores. That's kind of how they're kind of growing into and infecting the air. So like, this is a real major issue.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's not right now. The most important thing is Ellie getting her revenge, and then everything else kind of falls by the wayside. So I think narratively it's weak in that sense. But other than that, I like the show.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it also so far, having not played the second game at all. I don't know the change in Ellie's character. I've seen the gameplay, so I get where people are like, she's a little more brutal. She's supposed to be really smart. And for some reason, I find like I have not seen Ellie make a smart decision on the show yet. So that's a weird choice. Whatever. I
think that's on purpose.
Yes. Yeah. So, but to your point, they stick to the show. They stick to the game. At times it's wonderful. And then they change it a lot. But I think this episode, the finale, let's talk about the finale. The end suffers from them sticking to the game. So there are cases where that's good and bad. And it's just interesting.
You think it suffers because it did that ending?
Yes, because
you don't like that ending?
I'm just going to put this. We're going to start here.
Is she dead?
I did not. I don't think this is my favorite. This is my least favorite episode of the season is the finale.
So I don't believe she's dead.
Who? No.
Ellie, no. But it ends with them. Yeah, you have to jump to the ending. So it ends with Abby has found them because Ellie killed 2 of Abby's crew members, including one person that was pregnant.
Oh, that was rough.
And then they're going to leave, and Joel's brother, I forget what, Tommy's has already been injured, and Abby's there, and Abby just shoots Jesse.
Jesse is dead.
And then you have the scene where Abby realizes that Ellie's alive, and she's like, "What the fuck? I kept you alive. I could have killed you." And then it cuts to black as soon as you shoot, as a gunshot goes off, and then it just flashes back to day 1 of Abby's time in Seattle, which coincides with the day 1 that
3 days
Ellie
earlier.
Yeah, 3 days earlier.
And this is how they're going to handle the switch in perspective from the game, right? We're going to go back.
And in the game, you get to play as Abby, and you get to see her perspective. And they're doing this purposely because they want the viewer to not feel like or be conflicted because the heroes and villains, it's not as clean as you would like it to be in reality.
Which is great. Everybody's a little gray. And I always love when they do that. But the way this season was paced, I knew it was going to end like this.
So why didn't you like it, Imran?
Because it was like not a lot happens, and it's just a lead up to. I knew Abby was going to be at the very end, and I think they could have got there a little bit quick. I don't know. There's like the boat thing. She's on the boat, then she's off the boat with the Seraphites, and then just conveniently a horn goes off. They let her go back on the boat.
I thought the Seraphite,
an inconvenience.
The Seraphite field trip was a little weird. Yeah. That they just had her. I thought that was a little. I don't believe that's in the game, and that was a little weird that they had added that little.
I heard
that they just let her go. It was very uneventful,
very convenient.
It's kind of useless.
Yeah.
The only point of that I watched the recap is they're trying to say that the compassion that Ellie had for the Seraphite, it's not reciprocated even in the children. Like they just hate everyone that's not them. But I just didn't think they needed to. do that.
I
little
thought
field
there was
trip.
like a part of the game where she's on Scar Island or something, and I heard they were going to do something like that, but it was just very
No, I don't believe the game has a
Okay.
like, where
It's
she
a
takes
strange
a little.
little-
They wanted to do it, but they
Are
didn't.
there seraphites in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's the thing with Anthony. Did you miss the clickers? Because there's a lot going on. You got these seraphites, you got the wolves, you got all these people.
Well, I mean, as of when I played the game, I didn't. By the way, I didn't play 2. I just know the story
Okay,
of 2 because I
okay.
looked it up. But I mean, I remember when I was playing the game, all the zombie, the clickers are the things like initially hook you, right? Especially in the game back then. You're like, oh, I'm going to play a game with zombies. But then most of the game really is revolving around like how fucked up humans get in this type of scenario. So it's not. I get why you'd want to see the clickers. I think it's just that's not really. It's just the bait to get you into the story.
Yeah, and the human story and the drama that's unfolding is pretty compelling. I guess I'm more frustrated that now I'm gonna have to wait like probably 2 years to see all this shit again from her point of view.
Right.
When I was, you're waiting for that moment.
Would you have rather it been a long season 2?
So that's the other thing. The first season
Did you
was
feel like
9
they switched
episodes.
and that because of the fact that it ends this way?
So only 7 episodes. Had there been another 2 episodes, or at least give me 10. So he's also said that they're going to need 4 episodes to tell this whole story now, when it was 3. So the second game may be split up into 3 seasons. So I just feel a little bit
Wait,
of
4 episodes.
4
Which
seasons.
kind of-
Sorry, 4 seasons total.
Got it.
So I just felt it got a little like decompressed towards the end.
Yeah.
But they were padding some shit
that.
out, especially this episode, right? So, like in the beginning, Jesse takes the arrow out of Dina's leg. There's just a lot of padding. Ellie returns, and we do find out she said she didn't kill Nora. Do we believe her? I don't know. I mean, she was infected. She's gonna die anyways down there.
Right.
And
Yeah, she was a goner.
And then she tells Dina
She beat the shit out of her, though.
she did. She fucking went full on pipe on her, like in Pulp Fiction. She tells Dina everything about Joel, the Fireflies, the hospital, and Dina's like, "I want to go home now." She didn't want to do this anymore. So I thought that was interesting.
I thought that was interesting, too.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey has no shirt on this whole scene, which is also interesting.
Well, you don't really see it.
You don't see it, but I just thought that was interesting. And so then they give us the title Seattle Day 3. And like Jesse and Tommy are there. You don't really see them a lot. They're going to meet up with Tommy at the rendezvous point. Jesse's upset. And Ellie's like a little shit. Like I could see why Jesse's annoyed with her. I would be mad also. Because
Well, she's acting out of pure revenge and bloodlust. And Jesse, you get Jesse's motivation, where Jesse is like, I'm responsible for people.
Yeah.
I can't just be.
he puts
What
people
you're doing
first.
is insanely selfish.
Yes.
And they come to a truce at the end where he goes, I respect the drive you had because you would do this for me, but it's also
Yeah.
like what you've done. I mean, it really just blows up in her face in that last scene, because her drive for revenge ends up with a baby in someone's womb that didn't have, like, was there, but really didn't participate in the murders, dies.
Innocent baby.
And then also Jesse dies because of the fact that she was selfish and decided to go to try to kill Abby.
Right.
Yeah, all of this is kind of her fault, making bad decisions.
Well, that-
not kind of. It is.
I mean, it
that-
is.
That scene between her and Jesse kind of delineates how selfish Ellie is,
Right.
and how she doesn't think about anybody but herself. And even when she's told that what her name is, Lisa, is Dina is pregnant.
Yeah.
She goes, "I'm going to be a dad," and completely not thinking about Jesse, who is the actual
Right.
dad.
Yes.
Right.
Like, oh, what, isn't he going to have something to say about this? Is he
Saved
going to
her
be
ass.
involved? And I guess not anymore. But like, that was kind of a presumptuous, very selfish way to look at things. So it just highlights that Ellie's very selfish and almost unlikable in this.
Well, I think that's part
Yeah.
of why the game also had a lot of controversy amongst many things. Is the first season or the first game, Joel, you know that Joel is kind of like a gray character. But Ellie is a pretty bright-eyed character. And then the second game, and then you're seeing in this season, they do a number on her where by the end, I won't spoil the game, but by at least to this point, you're like, this girl, I mean, it's not good. She's just killing. She's costing all her friends' lives because of her lust for revenge, and like she thinks she's doing this for Joel, but she's really just doing it for herself because Joel's dead. But they also are, I think part of the game is also, or part of this season is that circle of revenge and when does it end and all that type
what it
of
does
stuff.
to you.
I think there. I mean, I think there's definitely depth to this. It's just how much do you enjoy the characters that you liked from the first season being now flipped on their head, and now someone you might not be able to stand by the end of this.
That's true.
She just
Can I ask a different question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you are Ellie and you are the chosen one. You are the one that is immune to all of this.
Yeah.
Doesn't that give you a better sense of responsibility? Like, hey, I can fix everything. Even if I have to sacrifice myself, I want to fix it. And you have a feeling that she's like that maybe last season. She wants to do it, whatever. But here you don't really get the feeling that she's the same character at all.
She should be like, let me go out first because I can't die.
Or anything.
Yeah,
like she should be trying to seek out people to try. Once she finds out that Joel killed everybody to save her, and she was like, okay, I'm cool with that because I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, how do you
Wouldn't
make it
she
right?
want to be like, hey, wait a minute, I was robbed of the opportunity to fix this.
Right.
And so that doesn't even come across at all. And like, you'd feel like that the old Ellie would have that. All right. Maybe the new Ellie doesn't. I don't know. But
well, the new Ellie's 5 years older from 19 to 14.
Yeah.
So you think about how much you change.
She's like, well, now I can fuck. So I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Well, and she's also in love. So that she's in love with Dina.
So
and then through their journey to Seattle, she also realizes that she's going to be a father. So that also adds a layer of complexity to her chosen one status and being the one to be like, oh, I will sacrifice my life for the good of the world. Now she's got stuff to lose.
What if she was just like, now this is like a really fucked up thing to say, but I'm sorry, but I have to say it. But if you have the only DNA that can withstand these things, wouldn't you be fucking and pumping out kids to save humanity?
Oh, wow.
That's a good point.
I didn't see that coming out.
Wouldn't they want to like reproduce her as soon as possible if she can?
I mean, in the very least, she could have
She's
made
immune.
3 kids that we could have now.
She could make immune kids
Yeah,
for the
she
future.
doesn't like that D.
They could even probably take it from her. Like, she didn't have to even complete the pregnancy. She could probably
she just needs to give her eggs. Yeah. freeze
she
those
could
eggs,
just get
man.
the embryo and they could fucking, it's going
Freeze
to kill it
those
anyway,
eggs.
right?
Yeah.
They could probably do it that way.
Let me take the conversation in a different direction.
I'm just saying, like, we're at the point where like we're trying to save humanity here. Like, if the writers didn't think of that.
What, Rug Boy? What are your thoughts on we going into the third season, and now we're gonna follow Abby's perspective?
I don't give a fuck about her story, to
Nope.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
What I mean, that's not what I'm watching this for. I'm watching to see the cure is right there. She's not the cure. She's not going to fix this. All right. I don't care what Abby's story is. I don't. There's nothing they can write that's going to make me think that's more important than you have the MacGuffin that's going to fix everything.
But
I think the MacGuffin part is you're going to be sorely disappointed
it's
if you
done,
guys
right?
follow
I don't
the
think the show is
MacGuffin
about
it's not about that.
finding
anymore.
her as the cure anymore. They don't care.
The MacGuffin has ended after the first
It's
game.
done. It's all about revenge and how it changes you and who's kind of more right than the other. I don't know.
Unless they rewrite it in a way where they bring that back, but I highly doubt that they're going to bring that back.
They obviously, with the games, they want to keep the game going as much as possible. And the games have a very long lifespan. There's like 1 million Calls of Duties, how many, whatever. They can make 1 million Last of Us games. But when you're watching a show, it shouldn't be forever. There should be an end game.
Right.
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 So either the end game is all the characters that you know die, and then there's nothing else to
or
follow.
they like the thing is cured.
Or they cure it.
Yeah. So they're gonna give us 2 more seasons. But what Anthony said, I'm already feeling is like it's not about the fucking cure anymore. It's just about surviving in this world and now trying to be sympathetic.
The second game is all about the cycle of revenge.
Yeah.
Where does the wheel, as they say, who breaks the wheel of that?
I feel like they should never have introduced that concept if they weren't going to somehow use that concept in resolving the story. I feel like that's a dumb thing to do.
Well, that's why the second game is very polarizing.
Yeah.
Because the second game takes it in a direction that you, as the listener or the viewer or the player, wanted to play it out. Maybe a lot of people probably wanted to play out the game and the conclusion and the cure and the zombies, and that's not. Yeah, as you can see, that's not the game in the second season.
Well, the game even forces you to do things you don't necessarily agree with.
You play as Abby.
Yeah, to keep
you play
the
game
going.
you play this game as the killer of Joel.
So I've seen some of the criticisms in that way the game it's revealed. You don't really know who Abby is. You see her kill Joel, and then you play as her, then you find out what her deal is. Why? Yeah. And then
go background into why she wasn't around and in this, because at the end of this season they were looking for her. I think she's like that's a little foggy to me as like why she's so important to the Wolves.
Yeah, he's like so 3 days ago she's there at the football stadium with this elaborate thing, and Isaac said she was going to be the future, and she's run off for some reason.
She's John Connor.
But also the bit where Joel tells Ellie, what he did, that happens at the very end of the game. So you're playing this whole thing, and then at the very end, but I guess it's more emotional that way. I like some of the changes they did here. I don't like where it ended here with 7 episodes. It seemed too short. You could have given me 1 or 2 more episodes, maybe. I don't know.
I had no idea it was the finale until I looked at this fucking notes.
How long was the first season?
9 episodes.
9. Okay.
Yeah. It's not my most favorite episodes. Ironically, my most favorite episodes this season are the ones with Pedro Pascal in it. I wonder why. I think episode 2 and then that flashback episode was fantastic.
Oh, those are both good.
The other episodes were good too, I think. I mean, there were some good attacks. And
do you feel like Ellie and Dina is a good replacement for Joel and Ellie? That's what's what this is banking on.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Dina is really the smart one and kind of keeping Ellie alive and saving her ass in most cases. It was a different dynamic. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I felt like we were a little too lackadaisical in their just demeanor. Pedro Pascal is more, you see the sense of urgency on his face. And these two are just like, let's go in here. I don't know what's going on in here.
Yeah, they never seem to fight about anything.
They just barely get away from scrapes. Yeah. But now she has killed some more people. Fuck, I didn't think Jesse was going to die, so that got me by surprise.
Yeah, it sucked for him.
Yeah, because he tricks Ellie into telling him she's pregnant, and he's talking about, I got to get my kid out of Seattle, and he really was the good. He went after them. He saves her ass, and this is the fucking repayment he gets.
He saves her, and then him and Tommy save her again.
Yeah, several times. I mean, and then also that episode with Abby. What's fascinating is when like Joel saves her, and then she just kills him. Like that's also great. So there's a lot of great things in there. But look, you get some serenading, you get some sing-alongs, Pearl Jam songs, you get lesbian sex. I don't know, I had a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
I for what it's worth, I think I said at the start, but I did like this season. I obviously don't like it as much as the first season, but this is almost an incomplete season because
correct.
They're taking the game and making it into 2, potentially 3 seasons. 3 seasons seems kind of crazy for that.
Well,
game.
No, it's going to be 4. That's what
4.
He's going to be 4 seasons. He said he's going to need a 4th season. That's what I was saying earlier.
I'm saying 3 seasons to play out the second game.
Oh yes, that's quite padding it out. But I don't know what he's changing. 2 seasons I got that, it seems like there's a split point when you become Abby.
Yeah, when you become Abby. That makes sense.
What about you guys? What were your favorite episodes? And I mean, what did you think? Was it satisfying? I think you just answered that question though, Anthony. Finale.
Was it satisfying? I mean, it's not, yeah.
It's not, it's half a story.
Yeah, it's half the story. Yeah, what were my favorite episodes? I mean, the flashback one was really good. The ones with Joel were really good. Yeah. Both of those. I mean, they were all okay. Like I didn't have any problem. I honestly, even this episode, I didn't have any problems with. Okay. I'd say maybe the first episode was kind of like not the banger to start.
Right.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was still fun. It was set up, it got you going. Ruggs, were you satisfied with this episode, or did it leave you a little empty or wanting more?
Well, yeah, I didn't realize it was the finale.
Okay, so right. It didn't feel like a finale.
I didn't feel like a finale. It felt like a cliffhanger, but whatever. Now that you guys put it in perspective, it seems logical that they're going to do the next season as Abby and then tell her story. But like I can tell you right now, I'm not really interested in that. I don't know how it's going to keep my attention, because like that's not what I'm interested in at all. It better be good. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She better be doing some lesbian sex.
That'll save the show.
I don't know.
So you only got to wait 2 years.
Dueling lesbians couples. I like that.
I don't think they've even started production on the next season, or maybe not even this year. So it's going to be like 2 years before this thing comes back. But man, I thought she was going to cut that baby out for a second. That was
going to be. Oh, I thought that was going to be wild.
But even without her cutting the baby out, that was fucking dark and crushing, and to see what she has done, like it nicked that girl in the neck. That was fucked up. It's good.
That was the other dude's fault, though. He shouldn't have done it.
He went for the gun, and she was gonna pull that whole you point to this map, and you better point to the same point on the map. Was that in the first season, right? Joel does that to somebody? That's right. She learned it from
He does that when he's torturing the guys to find Ellie.
That's right. I mean, Jeffrey Wright's character was cool. I wish we had a little bit more, but him torturing the Seraphite was a great scene.
Why was it great?
They get everybody naked, I guess. They're
getting because it was disturbing.
They like always to take the Seraphite's clothes off.
Yeah, they strip him off. Oh, what about that moment where they're hiding and they see the wolf guys in this episode like torture this dude, and Ellie wants to like run out there and help them, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Just fucking stay hidden.
That doesn't seem like a smart decision at all.
Well, Ellie is Captain America.
Yeah,
Cap will go out and save him, and Jesse is Iron Man. He's like,
what about my community?
Yes. What about talking about your community?
Your community? What about my community?
My community was slaughtered.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see like she feels like Joel saved her, kind of like that. I don't know.
Yeah. She wants to help because that's what Joel did for her, and Jesse thinks about things a little bit. He has more of a responsibility to others than Ellie. It's
just 5 years into this whole thing. You'd think she would just make smarter decisions and not just fucking run into things or just be stupid. I don't know. I
mean, think about when you were 19.
Yeah, you're 19, but you have been training in this. You have seen this world. Dina gets it. She's the same.
I think you're holding Ellie to a standard just think about when you were 19.
Yeah, but what about, isn't Dina the same age? She's smart. She gets it.
Yeah, well, there's different people.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, no, all right. Let's rate it. Give me a rank on the whole season if you want, compared to the first season. Anthony.
I forgot what I ranked the first season. The first season's better.
Yeah.
This one, solid 7 out of 10.
Okay. Ruggs.
I'm going to echo Anthony. I think the first season's better, and this is recommendable. I would say 7, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree also. The first season, because it's one complete game kind of story. This is a first part of 3 of the story, maybe. But it's solid HBO prestige television. I'll still give it like 7.5. It's good.
All right.
It's good. First season, though, I will give I think I gave it a 9. This maybe I even give it 8. It's overall, it's very good. But it's going to take years to tell this story when it should be like, give me another season next year. So we'll catch up with you in 2027, Last of Us, in episode 693 of the Jock. No, I don't know. Anyways, let's take a break here, fellas. We're going to play some promos, and we'll be right back to talk about Ethan Hunt and his possible final mission. Maybe right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all these games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
Turn your dial to find the frequency of the past.
Captain Advice.
Where the classic stories of mysteries, sci-fi, thrillers, and suspense are found waiting to be heard once again.
Another case for Nick Carter, Master Detective.
You'll find a variety of those stories here, in their original form, where each episode takes you to another place or time.
The Man of Bronze, Doc Savage.
But only when you find the mystery frequency. Available everywhere.
The Shadow knows.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, this is a great time to join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. There's a link in the episode description, and you can give back on a monthly or annual basis, and you get things like access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early and there's bonus content. For example, this week, all three of us put up instant reactions to the movie we're about to review. Ruggs sent in a review for a martial arts movie called Martial Arts Kid. Right, Ruggs?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And Anthony sent in a review for the movie Companion. So you can hear all that and join us on our monthly Discord hangouts. This month it will be June 19th. That's a Thursday in the evening. Lots of fun stuff over on our Patreon. Check it out right now. Okay, fellas, let's get to this week's review. We have made it to the final mission of Mission Impossible 8. Mission Impossible, the final reckoning. Here is your spoilers.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
Ooh, the 8th movie in this franchise that has been running 29 years. Tom Cruise has been running for 29 years straight. If you remember, originally, the plan was the last movie is called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. It was called Dead Reckoning Part 1. They were planning to shoot these back to back. It was going to be Dead Reckoning Part 1, Part 2. COVID fucks that up. They split it up. And so becomes Dead Reckoning Part 2 becomes Final Reckoning. And the strikes also fuck with this movie and delay it a little bit. So Tom Cruise just having a rough time at both of these last two movies. Major things interrupting. Of course, this is based on the television series created by Bruce Geller that ran on CBS from 1966 to 1973.
How many people that watch Mission Impossible know that?
Do they even know it was a TV? 7 seasons.
Well, I know it was a show.
I knew it was a show. Yeah, which is
I didn't for
really?
a long time. Yeah,
there was a little revival in 1988 for 2 seasons on ABC. But yeah, that is the funny thing is that I always picture the show. It started with the lighting of the wick of the thing sequence and the song I remember from that. My dad used to watch it. I think that's why I knew about it. But it's really irrelevant because Tom Cruise has just kind of reinvented it. On Rotten Tomatoes, Final Reckoning, sitting at 80% tomato meter, critic score, 89% audience score. So that 80% puts it the 5th highest Mission Impossible movie on Rotten Tomatoes. All right. The 4 above it being Fallout, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol, and even the previous Dead Reckoning. Now, here's this is also crazy. The budget for this movie is a reported $400 million.
Oh, shit.
Easily one of the most expensive movies ever made. You're talking like in the realm of like the Avatars and the Force Awakens and shit. It's crazy. I don't know why it cost that much. Maybe because of the strikes. Opening weekend, it makes a franchise best $63 million over just the 3-day domestic, estimated $77 million through the Monday Memorial Day holiday. Currently, it's at a $204 million global. So $63 million is like the best it's done, which is kind of crazy that it opened to series best.
Is this another Barbenheimer situation?
Well, the problem is Lilo and Stitch also came out. It made $145 million.
Yeah, it's making a lot of
opening weekend, 3-day, estimated 183 for the Monday 4-day. It's already made $341 million, Lilo and Stitch, in like 3 fucking days. But the theaters had a really good Memorial Day weekend.
They did.
Record-breaking 300.
Lilo Impossible?
Yeah, Lilo Impossible, Mission and Stitch. Mission and Stitchable, the final stitching. $328 million at the box office this Memorial Day weekend, blowing past the record set in 2013 of $314. So
who said movies are dying?
Movies are back, baby. You got the IMAX, you got Disney. 2 very different audiences, and I'm glad to see like that people turned out and went to both things. This one, the 4th movie, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. This time with a screenplay from McQuarrie and Eric Jendrison, starring, of course, TC, good old Tom Cruise returning as Ethan Hunt. You got Haley Atwell returning as Grace from the last movie. You need Luther. Ving Rhames is there. You need Benji. Simon Pegg is in this. Isai Morales returning as Gabriel, the bad guy from the last movie. Palm Clemente Mantis playing Paris, also returning from the previous movie. Henry Czerny playing Kittredge, who was also in the very first movie and the last movie. You got Hulk McCallany, Janet McTeer, and Nick Offerman playing some government types. And in a fun nod to Apple Television series, you have the Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham and Severance's Milchick, Trammell Tillman. Well, it's like an Apple TV movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Angela Bassett returning as President Sloan. Shea Wiggum also returning as the Agent Briggs. And Greg Tarzan Davis as newcomer Degas on the team. Couple of other people, guest cameos we will get to. Anthony.
Yeah.
This movie is PG-13, 2 hours and 49 minutes. It is the longest one in the franchise, the most expensive movie in the franchise. What happens in Mission Impossible Final Reckoning?
You mean the plot?
Yes. Give us the synopses.
The synopses. So we're coming off of Dead Reckoning, where the entity, which is basically AI, has infiltrated everything and threatens to take over the world's nukes and cause annihilation of the Earth. And Ethan has the key, or the MacGuffin, one of which there are many in this story.
Several.
That can take down the entity. So he is embarked on one final mission to save the world from AI destroying us with nukes. And there's also a mustache twirling villain named Gabriel involved with this, along with a bunch of side characters that are part of Ethan's team. But that's the plot.
Yeah, it's
save the world from AI.
ChatGPT. It's gone out of control. Imagine. And Ethan Hunt, of course, is the only one that can do it. Well, Anthony, I heard your instant reaction. I know you've watched most of these and still fill in some gaps, but we both enjoyed the last one. When this was over, how did you feel as a possible final act for Ethan Hunt here?
I was pretty hyped walking into this movie. I did see this again. Now I'm a big Alamo guy. I went and saw it at the Alamo.
Yeah.
Quick aside on the Alamo, they did a nice little, they do pre-roll footage, or they do custom footage before each show. And this one, they did a funny little, they were doing spy stuff, and then they did a to Z encyclopedia of A to Z dictionary of Mission Impossible things. So S is for stunts, and this is for that.
That's fun.
And then they recapped the prior movie for it too. So that was great.
So they make these videos like in-house for this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Alla
And then
Ho.
Tom Cruise came on the screen and thanked you for coming to the movie.
Yes,
and then,
he did that for me too. That was
yeah,
nice.
I don't think that was an Alamo thing. I do have to say, Alamo's known for quiet people. This one, I had two people that were pretty loud.
Oh yeah,
not loud, but they were talking. But they were also foreign. And I think one guy had like special needs.
Oh,
I did not report them for talking, even though they were talking, and I probably should have punched them in the
get
face.
them the fuck out of here.
No, but I felt bad for them actually.
Oh.
So I let it happen.
Oh.
Anyways, what did I think coming out of this movie? Mission Impossible, it's a franchise that I've grown to start to really like. We just did 2. I think the only movie I haven't seen is Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
I don't know if I should go back and watch that at some point. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
And probably should rewatch 3. The other movie I haven't seen in a while is 3, but that one I was in the theater as a 18-year-old making out with my girlfriend the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember it other than Rabbit's Foot and the villain played by, what's his name?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, the best villain apparently in Mission Impossible.
It's a good one.
This movie, I will say I had very high expectations for, especially off the last 2. Fallout, one of the best action movies of this century, I think.
Yeah.
And Dead Reckoning's a really fun movie. I will say this movie is a little bit disappointing for me. Not gonna lie. Yeah. First off, Tom Cruise is a madman. The final act is insane. I was literally like, oh my God, that's really happening on screen right now with the chase scene in the air.
It's great.
But this movie is very long. If you're a Mission Impossible fan, they do a lot of callbacks to the other old movies. That was for me. But I think the biggest thing is, one, on paper, AI being the villain makes a lot of sense. In execution, it doesn't give you anything tangible to really go up against. And you throw in Gabriel, who really doesn't have any, I don't know what his plan is. I don't know what his motivation is.
Yeah.
He's just a guy. And it makes for kind of a weak villain. And then you throw in just and I know Mission Impossible is built on these impossible scenarios, right? Where they have to save this thing. And there always is a little bit of a MacGuffin. But I felt like this movie had almost too many MacGuffins.
There was 12.
Yeah, and it was like, you got to get this MacGuffin to go to that MacGuffin to get to this MacGuffin.
Put this MacGuffin
and
in
it's
that
just,
MacGuffin.
for me, it was just too convoluted.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I thought the plot was just all over the place, hard to follow the logistics of why this needs to go there. Why does he need to go underground to the subway, to the sub, to get this code to then put into a hard drive that Ving Rhames create? It's so if you even spell it out, it's really
it's fantastic.
convoluted.
Yes.
But what saves it at the end of the day is, one, anytime they do that epic title sequence and they play dun dun dun, that's like goosebumps. But really, that fucking the submarine scene, seeing Tom Cruise in his underwear fight people, and then the plane stuff was enough for me to be like, even though this plot isn't the best, even though the villain isn't the best, even though this isn't necessarily the send-off that I want, in the shit that Mission Impossible for the last few years has really built itself on, which is crazy stunts and Tom Cruise wanting to kill himself for you.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise does that. So ultimately, I'm in the middle on this. I was a little bit disappointed, but I respect Tom Cruise and him being this enigma that has now evolved into, I will die for your entertainment.
Every time he talks about these stunts on interviews, he always goes, I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid. And he's just living out all the shit he wanted to do when he was a kid.
I mean, a fight scene on a plane like that is just, that's insane.
Well, it's called wing walking, and it's an actual
is that a thing?
art. Yes, it's a thing that was done in the past.
And in the face while they wing walk?
The fighting is extra, but the wing walking is a discipline that stunt performers do. And he saw it as a kid and just always wanted to fucking do it. But the way he does it is insane. Ruggs, let's go over to you. I know you love this franchise. I love this franchise. So how did this one hit you? Did it give you what you were looking for?
Well, what can you say about Mission Impossible? They've done it all.
Yeah.
They've had every kind of plot, every kind of their nukes. They got AI. They got a rabbit's foot. They got all this shit. There's all these things, these MacGuffins. They've done it all. So when you get to the 8th movie, I can assume that it gets pretty.
No, you
tough.
just do everything again.
You're just rinsing and repeating at that point.
Do it all again.
You've done it all. You just got nothing else to do, so you're just doing it all again. Yeah, I feel like it was a boilerplate Mission Impossible movie, meaning that it's not better than any of the other ones as far as plot or bad guy or setup is involved. The stunts that are the set pieces that kind of bookend this movie, or I can't say bookend, but it's like middle.
Yeah, one's in the middle, one's in the end. Yeah,
they're great, and they're definitely cool. So, and the fact that he's 60 years old, and doing this shit, and he's willing to fucking hang off of a plane with a little wire for your entertainment. I kind of admire that.
You can't breathe up there. You can see that.
I feel like I was in a packed audience.
Yeah.
Same.
And when I say packed, I mean an annoyingly fucking packed audience with teenagers and young kids that shouldn't have been in there, running up and down the aisles.
Oh, no.
Being distracting. But the audience was loving the shit out of this movie. They were clapping, cheering. They were amped. I don't know what they were fucking smoking, but I wanted some because they were really, really, really loving this movie. They're on the edge of their feet. There was just a feeling in the audience,
nice.
Like not Endgame, but like almost in the same vein.
Interesting.
Like I think Star Wars, that the first one that came out of the revival,
Force Awakens,
the Force Awakens was big in the audience too. The audience went crazy. And Endgame. Those were the two times where people were fucking flipping the
No
fuck
Way
out.
Home. Don't forget No Way Home.
No Way Home too. Yeah, that was a pretty good one too. But this is
Geely.
Yeah,
people were losing their mind for different reasons.
People were clapping.
Minecraft. They didn't Minecraft this one, but they didn't bring a chicken or anything.
No one threw popcorn.
No one threw a chicken. Okay.
No one was doing that type of shit. But it did elicit a reaction. Now listen, was it a good movie? No. I'm just gonna say
You don't think it was? You would say it's not good.
The movie makes no sense. It makes rules and then just throws them right out the fucking window. They spend like 20 minutes telling you about how decompression works and the bends. And then Tom Cruise goes into a sub and he's just going into a place with completely different pressure and nothing happens.
And then he rips the suit off.
The water keeps depressurizing.
Yeah. And then he goes and he floats to the top and he's fine. And they're like, oh, you need to depressurize for like a week. Not Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He's right up and at him in I don't know, 24 hours. I don't even know how much time he had. He had 72 hours to do this fucking mission.
He only had 4 days to get this done.
So I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know about this, like writing Macquarie. Who's writing this shit that makes absolutely no sense? But fine. I'm pointing it out because you did it and it doesn't make sense. A lot of the shit in this movie makes absolutely no sense. Like, why is the bad guy want Tom Cruise to do all this stuff? Like, shouldn't the bad guy not want Tom Cruise to do all this stuff?
Oh my God.
Yeah, doesn't Gabriel needs the thing?
Gabriel needs
the thing that Ethan has, but he's
makes
flying,
him chase him around in the
flying
sky.
Away. He's trying to kill him
in the sky, and he needs his drive.
He needs the thing that he has.
I was throwing my arms up in the air, like what is the plan here?
Yeah, there's some bad shit in this for sure. So I can't not say it. Like, I don't think this is the best. I think that Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation.
Well, hold your ranking. We'll get there. Yes, it's not.
They're
the best.
all better written than this one for sure, 100%.
But as a final closure, did you appreciate the callbacks, or did it get in the way for you?
Unnecessary. I mean, a few of them were needed, but they retconned a bunch of stuff, like the rabbit's foot was the AI.
That was the beginning of the entity. Apparently, they never told you.
Wait. We can't.
They never told you what it was.
How would they? When did Mission Impossible 3 come out? That was like 2006, 8?
2006? 2006, correct.
The AI was not even a twinkle in anyone's eye.
That's why it was the beginning of the AI. I mean, there's some vague...
How was it the beginning?
There's some vague line in there. What do they call it? The death or the god, anti-god I don't know. They retcon the shit out of it. You don't really know what's in there because in the third movie, he has to give that to Philip Seymour Hoffman to save his wife and shit, right?
Right.
So he does say, oh, I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so my opening thoughts.
You, Imran?
Very, very similar to your guys. The two set pieces, the two action scenes, probably some of the best fucking bonkers action shit you're going to see in a movie in a long time. Just stunning, thrilling. I mentioned on the show before I was going to watch all the movies before this. I did end up watching 3 through 7. Turns out I didn't really need to because they had a lot of callbacks. I appreciated the callbacks. So the good to me is this movie, Tom Cruise delivers. It's entertaining. It's thrilling. I was engaged the whole time. But is the plot convoluted? Yes. Are there too many MacGuffins? Is it slightly indulgent? It's almost like a meta commentary on Tom Cruise's career as Ethan Hunt in action movies.
He's the chosen one.
He's apparently the only one who could do this.
And they're saying they've been building up his whole life. It's to imply that
it's all been leading to
because he's insane and just does whatever he wants.
There's way too many expository dialogue dumps. Like half of the movie is them planning to do something and then they do the plan. But this is kind of what happens in a Mission Impossible movie. The dialogue is so on the nose. It's really bad. It's just kind of clunky in the first act. What's weird is it didn't start with an action set piece, kind of like the other movies did to set the stage. This one takes a little bit to get going, and there's less humor. I felt like it just got a little too serious for its own good, but I get it. It's the final entry, so at the end of the day, with the callbacks, I was mostly satisfied if this is his last one, but. The stunts saved the movie. The story doesn't matter. The location shooting is great. And Tom Cruise is in his underwear a lot for some reason, but it looks great at fucking 62. But I just feel like the balance, some of the other movies had a better balance of humor, action when it slows down, and then big set pieces. And this one,
it didn't need to be this long.
Yeah,
no,
they could have cut.
It really didn't. And I think a lot of it was just the retconning of things. Now, I did enjoy the dude from the first movie who walks in, who was in that room when Tom Cruise is hanging there. Dunlow is back, and the knife is back. That was fantastic. They kind of try to pull an Endgame, and there's a little bit of things that reference every movie in this movie, right? And I kind of like that. I kind of see what he was going there. Did it work entirely? Maybe not, but they turned Ethan into his mythical figure. Just because it's Tom Cruise and he's a producer, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, the another aspect of this too that I didn't fully connect with is the previous movies do a good job of establishing his crew and how essential they are to the plot. And this movie kills Ving Rhames' character. What's that guy's name?
Luther doesn't make it. Yes.
Luther doesn't make it, but he makes him a MacGuffin, so that's good.
And he diffuses another bomb, which
and
is
he
he's
leaves
good
him a message.
He leaves him a message, right.
Yeah. Was he dying, though? It was unclear.
What?
Because when he meets him, there's a medical bed, and
you don't know what's wrong with
something.
He's on
Does
his
he have
way out.
cancer? Is he dying?
Yeah,
they never explained.
Yeah, I don't remember if that's something from the previous movie
No, it
or
wasn't.
not.
I don't think so.
But anyways, I think another part of this movie that is a little rough is it's so long, and you have this MacGuffin chase and all this convoluted shit, but you have this whole crew that he has.
Yeah,
and I mean, most of the crew is useless. Simon Pegg's character's still funny.
Yeah,
Haley Atwell's there because she's a thief, and I guess she's now Tom Cruise's love interest. But what's her name? Pom Clementif. All she's there for is to say things in French.
Yes.
And then you have this other guy, this dude.
Degas.
I don't know what he's there for.
Degas. So we meet Degas in the beginning when they break Paris.
What is his role? You add 2 more people. You add the dude from the first movie, and then you add his wife.
Yeah.
It's just too many characters that
wife was cute.
Are kind of useless.
Yeah. Yeah, they tend to get sidelined a little bit. I mean, the team had stuff to do in the Bering Strait in the cabin, and the plans they have are ridiculous.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
The
but I mean, that's Mission Impossible.
But it is Mission Impossible, right? So the MacGuffin is hilarious because Luther creates this thing called a poison pill that's going to put malware in the entity. He's got to get the source code from the submarine, so you slide the poison pill.
Which you needed that key from the first movie.
Yes, and nobody knew what the key
was
opened.
broken into two things, and you need to combine the keys.
So there's the whole thing about getting the two keys. Nobody knows. We'll get to how that part in a second, because that's also fucking crazy. Nobody knows what the key opened. But you got to slide this thing into this other thing and then plug this 5D drive over here and then cut this wire and make sure the entity gets in there and then pull it within 100 milliseconds. It's ridiculously convoluted.
Also, speaking of ridiculous, this is where, when I'm talking about the villain being AI, it really suffers.
Yeah.
Because Age of Ultron, let's go to Marvel, Age of Ultron. At least they put the body of the AI into something.
Right.
So you could tangibly fight something.
Right.
This one, they do...
This is a screensaver.
Well, yeah, but they do a thing where Tom Cruise's Ethan gets in a coffin.
Yeah, he talks to the
sees the entity.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why would the entity even give? Why would the entity even talk to Tom Cruise? I don't understand that at all.
Wouldn't he just kill him
I don't
right
understand
there?
the entity showing all the scenarios. I don't get that.
Yeah.
But because there's that random scene, and then you don't have really the entity anymore.
Yeah.
You can't interact with it. There's nothing there where you're like, why is the entity even doing this? There is no motivation.
Yeah, and the plan doesn't make any sense, right? He's gonna blow up the world and hide in the bunker,
hide?
and then what? And then that's it. That's your plan.
What? Why does he need to hide?
So that.
And what is he hiding from? And what is he going to do once he gets out of being hiding?
Yeah.
How is he going to get out of hiding?
And if you blow up, if you kill everyone, what are you going to do? Like, what is the point of anything? Like, you can, and Gabriel is just. I feel
He's
like
the worst.
there was.
I hate him.
I feel like there was more with the entity, and they took it out, and they made more Gabriel. And Gabriel's whole thing is dumb because the entity is not working with him anymore. He's trying to control it, and he forces Tom Cruise to go down in the sub and get it.
Gabriel has the poison pill, right?
Yeah, he kills Luther, steals the poison pill.
Right.
Well, I think the end game for Gabriel is he has the poison pill.
Yeah.
But he wants the drive that's in the submarine.
Yeah.
Right.
So he can control the entity. He wants to control the entity and use it to dominate the world.
He wants it so bad that he wants to kill Tom Cruise, who has the part of it that he needs.
But the fact that the entity is doing its own shit and already doing shit, it's like, I don't think you're going to be able to do much with it.
Right.
Like, it's going to be too late by the time if the entity's already trying to kill off humanity, they're a little bit too late.
Yeah. The plot, unfortunately, really breaks down when you think about it. I think when I compare it though to like Dead Reckoning or Fallout or was it Rogue Nation?
Yeah.
Well, like at least those plots, there's some ridiculousness to all the Mission Impossible things, but those move at a pace, especially Fallout.
Yeah.
Where you're going from one thing to another, and you can figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of this movie, I was going, wait, what are they doing?
Why are they doing this now?
What is happening here?
There's still a sense of what, the thing that makes these movies great ever since McQuarrie started like writing on the fourth one is the plans not going to their way and him having to improv and going, I'll figure it out. Just figure it out. Like once McQuarrie started adding that to this Ethan Hunt, he was a great character. And
that and I think the comedy.
Yeah, which
they started making it more funny and making it where Ethan Hunt wasn't this unstoppable Terminator, but more would oftentimes just get his ass kicked.
Yeah,
that's where it's fun. And the part where when they're doing the chase scene and they just cut to Ethan and his face is all like blowing in the wind.
Yeah,
I was like, this is funny.
Yeah, so they use the humor well. I think it could have been a little bit more. Let's talk about this whole crazy how he gets to the sub. This whole sequence, and then because it is so just insanely convoluted,
impossible,
and hilarious. So let's starting with. Yeah,
that sub commander's hilarious.
So that's Trammell Tillman. That's Milchick. He fucking stole every scene he was in. When he's like, and at first I love when he just calls him Mister. If you're asking me to poke the bear, you found the right guy. And he smiles. It's so good. So he's got to get to this sub, and he's on a helicopter, and there's Russian helicopters coming at him. They're about to turn around. He just fucking jumps out the helicopter without a wetsuit. Doesn't know if he's going to get found. They happen to find him.
The sub is monitoring all these other Russian subs and can barely come up because they don't want to get caught.
Yeah,
right?
because they're surrounded by Russian subs who are looking for them and the submarine they're looking for. Anyways, he gets there. They have, of course.
Can someone explain to me how they found him? Like how he knew to jump in the water? And then
There's no way they would have found him.
They were supposed to be.
Why were there divers in the water?
They're already there.
Time?
They were supposed to be in the area looking for him, maybe, but not there. But yeah, somehow he would have froze and they fucking find him. They have a suit for him, which is similar to like the Halo suit, the high altitude jump from Fallout, but it's underwater. I also find this interesting. They maybe ran out of ideas for ground stunts because there's one underwater, one in the air. They couldn't think of anything to do on the ground anymore.
They did a chase scene, but it wasn't.
They did do a chase scene. It was all right. And then you have fun things like the entity has acolytes on his behalf, and there's a little knife fight in his underwear.
So I didn't understand that. The entity convinced someone to kill him?
There's like cults formed around the world that worship the entity and believe all the bullshit it's been putting out. And yes, I think the entity convinced this guy to kill Ethan Hunt.
Got it.
Somehow. There's people now. There's acolytes, right? So he fights.
It's a cult.
It's a cult. Here's the thing. He gets in the suit. And then at this point, a Russian sub has found them. So he's like, make a U-turn. I'm going to get off at the turn. Don't worry about it. To lead the other Russian subs away. So he's got to get out of this sub, clear the propeller of this sub. Then he's got to clear the other giant Russian sub that's following them. Then he's got to dive down. Find the submarine, get into the submarine, swim past a room full of missiles while the submarine is slowly rolling down a cliff.
Because he opened the hatch and let water in. And
it's all depressurized. He gets in the thing where the key is, grabs the Podkova drive. Then he's got to get out, but then the missiles are blocking his exit. Then he's like, I'll get out through the torpedo tube. But then his suit is too big, so he takes everything off, gets out of the suit, and has to leave his suit behind, at which point he probably would have imploded in the pressure suddenly with that suit ripping off.
He's fine.
He's fine. And then he floats. I did love this lovely shot. Remember we in the trailer where you see him, it looks like he fell and somebody swam up to him. It was just upside down. He floats up naked to the ice pack. And just coincidentally, the team is right there to cut him out of the ice.
Well, they did
have the decompression
that
they were going to be there.
They were going to be there. It was going to be really hard, but they were going to try to be there at that exact moment.
So that's the first ridiculous plan that manages to work.
That whole thing. Just stop there.
Yeah.
That whole thing, fun watch. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to watch it, but I was just flabbergasted that they wanted me to believe that this was all happening.
Yeah. I was like, this dude he dies and they bring him back to life.
Ethan Hunt should have been dead like 76 times in this series already. The amount of times he is getting knocked off a motorcycle at high speed and just tumbled and survived, right? He has died, I think, twice. I don't know if you count this one. They were doing CPR, but there was another one where he was kind of dead for a little bit and they brought him back.
He's not dead in this. He's not dead.
He's just out and he's decompressed. So, and while this is going on, you get the whole thing in the cabin with Dunlow and his wife, and it burns down, and they got to transmit the codes at Morse code every 15 minutes for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other layer to that, too.
Yes, they're fucking dog sleds and all this shit. I love seeing that guy.
I thought there was going to be a polar bear.
Right? Yeah.
At that point, they should have been.
They should have been.
What else would have kicked that up a notch?
And then the other plan is to get the poison pill and the Podkova and the fucking thing, and they got to go to this bunker in South Africa. So they do the thing they do at the end of every Mission Impossible movie. Ethan has one job to do, and the team is waiting while avoiding bullets to do the second part of the thing, but he's got to do the first part. And of course, it all happens at the very last second. And it turns out after 8 movies, the missions are entirely possible. What did you think about that whole scene?
I was going to.
Let's talk about that scene.
Can't gloss over the third act, like that whole.
The third act's great.
The third. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the stunt.
Yeah.
The plan is crazy. The plan is again fucking dumb. Fucking dumb that you're going to make me believe that this is actually real. But the whole wind walking, whatever you called it, what do you call it?
Wing walk.
Wing walk. I mean, it's not just one scene.
No,
it's an entire thing.
It's amazing.
Speaking of cheering, my audience was full of Mission Impossible people. The minute where the one plane, he's chasing after the plane, first off, everyone's laughing that we all think he's going to catch the plane.
He's running, yes.
He doesn't. Then the next plane comes by and it cuts to him hanging on it.
Yes, because
everyone in my crowd went nuts.
Because they just drove right over
it. It was about to happen.
They knew exactly. They knew this man is about to do something crazy in this movie.
That's great.
And it was, I mean, the fact that it went on that long,
it was
he's climbing on the plane,
fucking thrilling. He's
punching people in the face. It's swirling around is crazy.
He's on one plane.
Yes, there's a yellow plane.
There's two guys.
And a red
they got two planes for some reason, even though the other one has they both have two seats on the plane.
Yeah, he only needed the
they
one
have two planes because this needs to happen in the movie. Yeah. So he climbs, punches the guy out, throws the guy out of the plane, and then the other guy's like, "Fuck you," and he smashes into his plane, knocks it down.
He's like ramming the rudder and shredding his fins with his propeller.
So he's got to get off his plane onto this motherfucker's plane.
How is he going to do that?
Then he climbs onto the plane and knocks him out.
So he gets on from under.
Puts on a parachute.
I was wondering. I was like, how? I know he's going to do this. How's he going to do? Is he going to jump from one plane to another? But he does it in a way that makes a lot of sense. He flies underneath and then just grabs onto his plane and lets his plane crash. And it's fucking thrilling. And then when he is on the wings in between with the suspensions, he is moving back and forth. This plane is doing dives and rolls. He's hanging off. He's like has 0 G. He's floating for a while in between the wings. He's just floating in 0 G as it dives.
He's got to be. I mean, they have definitely tied him in real life. Tied him to those.
I think it was just one cord.
That's so insane.
And it's like 140 miles an hour winds coming out.
That's crazy.
So the reason that they have biplanes because it needs to be analog.
Yes, correct. So the entity can't fuck with it.
Right.
Convenient reason, of course.
But it's worth pointing out. We've pointed out again, but I want to point out one more time. Gabriel's plan here to control the entity.
I don't understand what
he
it was.
needs the thing on Tom Cruise's neck.
Yes.
Yet he is trying to kill him this entire time.
And Tom Cruise needs the thing on Gabriel's neck. So why are you running?
But at least Tom Cruise, Ethan is trying to get to Gabriel.
So, but even before that, I don't understand that plan. They were going to trick Gabriel to put the poison pill in the drive because he was going to give him the drive for a second, and then Phelps and them show up.
Well, there's that, and there's also like this whole sub not even plot, but this whole thing that they're trying to drive through in the movie where don't do what the entity thinks you will do.
Right. You got to be.
You got to outthink the entity.
Yeah.
And it's like, one, the entity's fucking stupid. Like, is AI that dumb where you could just come up with a scenario where it's like, well, don't do what it thinks, and you could beat it?
Wouldn't it know that?
Wouldn't it? Like, we all know AI. I mean, it can produce some stupid shit, but if AI is the AI that we think it's going to be, it would have already come up with that scenario.
Yeah, it would know humans are unpredictable, and
it would have played out every scenario.
Sure.
So that this all that to say is this AI in this movie is fucking stupid.
Yeah, the bad guy is so weak. Meanwhile, in the bunker, Benji is shot, and he has to guide Paris to perform surgery to release air from his lungs while he's telling Grace how to hack the computer.
I thought that was funny.
Put in a drive that Luther built. And ultimately, Ethan does kill Gabriel with the propeller. How does he die? He gets like
he
forgot what happened.
Punches him, and then Gabriel's like, "I got a parachute," and he like ejects himself, but he does a backwards flip and he hits his head on the back of the wing.
The wing.
He's killed in a pretty funny way.
Then just goes bonk and like flies away. Yes. And so Ethan is falling and now has to. This is a great shot. I saw a behind the scenes thing where he's got a camera just like strapped to him on a pole, and he jumps out of a plane to shoot this, but he's got to shove the poison pill inside the Pudkova, and then it turns green. Grace cuts the red cord. The thing lights up, and yoink, she pulls it just in time. Yay! Saving
I did
the world.
like, in addition to
once again
the stunts, which are amazing.
Yeah,
freaking amazing. I did enjoy Simon Pegg's character like passing out every second, and they'd be like trying to wake him up.
Yeah, that
the next thing, he'd wake up and say the next word that needed to be said.
Yeah. So Luther doesn't make it out of here, but everybody else survives. Benji, because you weren't sure if Benji and those people in the thing survived, but
I didn't know if Ethan would survive. I thought it was possible he would have died.
So
they don't kill Ethan Hunt.
Miraculously, he saves the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they have that, for some reason, like at the end of every movie, they get back together.
And then they have that meet.
They meet,
drink
but like
beers.
this didn't even meet.
No,
they just looked at each other and walked away.
Yes.
I'm glad you called that out because I also thought that was weird.
Yes. So Grace
where they all meet up, but they all go in a circle.
Yeah, why do we all go there? Like we're not even going to talk to each other.
Grace shows up and gives Ethan the drive, so he has the glowy entity, and then they all just walk in separate directions, and I'm like, oh, they could make another one.
Have a beer.
Yeah, they don't even have a drink like in the end of 4.
But wouldn't they like that? It was. I thought to myself, most of these people were together.
Yeah.
Yet why are they all showing up in different parts of the circle?
Yeah, they were all separate, and you know what? Also, they never really showed us Gabriel's. Like in the last movie, they showed that he was his mentor and he knew him before the MI thing and shots. And like they don't ever explain what happened.
They do another flashback with Gabriel potentially killing his wife or something, but it's all very shoehorned in.
It's so
they
vague.
try to make Gabriel something from his past, but given that he's not a character in any of those other movies, for me that falls flat.
It's not good. And where was his wife Julia? I thought that at least they'd be doing like a Julia thing.
I was wondering that too because they're really implying that Haley Atwell's character is now just fucking him.
Is that what they're implying? Also, is she? You got to.
I mean, do you question that?
I didn't. They never kissed though. None of these, like even with Ilsa Faust, he didn't really have a romantic relationship. I didn't think that they were fucking. I didn't get that.
They were in the tent together.
Oh.
You didn't catch the sexual tension between them two?
No, I don't know. Their chemistry was just okay, I thought, in this one. I didn't really feel it. Ruggs, did you feel it?
Well, yeah, I assumed that they were getting busy in the tent.
I forgot about the tent. Okay.
Or not getting busy. She was like putting her body up against his.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in his underwear a lot in this movie. So
yeah.
I understand. What else? Okay, so some of the callbacks. What about all the callbacks? We got the Dunlow and knife from Mission Impossible 1, Rabbit's Foot, Mission Impossible 3. That part in the sub where it's like turning and the wall of water kind of turns. It was very much like in Fallout with Solomon Lane in the truck when he kicks it into the river.
All I got to say about the callbacks is very disappointed there wasn't a callback to 2.
I would say the long hair and maybe the knife fight was kind of a callback to 2 because someone goes, "Oh, your hair's long. It looks nice." That was like the only one where he had long hair. I don't know. That's how I read it, but nothing explicit.
Ghost Protocol, he had longer hair.
He did also,
he did.
yeah. But I thought like that.
I would have loved. I would have loved a 2 callback.
Maybe one
just because it's fresh.
One spinny flip kick just for good measure. You know what?
Maybe
Oh yeah, if he would have done a flip,
flying
one of
kick
those,
or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe as he lands at the end, and he's putting the thing in the thing, the MacGuffin and the other MacGuffin, just a bunch of doves fly out.
There you go. He lands right on a motorcycle into a jump.
He lands on a motorcycle and automatically has 2 guns in his hand.
Yeah. I did notice a lot of lens flare from J.J. Abrams' time.
I thought the most obvious callbacks are from the 1 and 3.
Well, and then that guy, Jasper Briggs, that was hunting him, the agent, is fucking John Voight's kid, Jim Phelps Jr.
That's 1. Yeah.
Well, from 1. Also, the date, May 22nd, 1996, on that note, that's the release of the first film. That's why they use that. But the whole thing has shades of like, breaking people out of prison, going to a party. He's flirting with a thief. He's chained up. They're all like shit he's done before. And kind of just did like greatest hits, which I didn't mind.
I mean, it is basically a greatest hits of all the movies.
Right. That's what I felt. It's kind of very greatest hits.
See, the thing though with the greatest hits aspect is this series, for me, I think for a lot of people, really peaked at Fallout. And Dead Reckoning was a pretty good follow-up. Wasn't as high as Fallout. So they created this expectation, and I think they, in some ways with the stunts, may have hit that mark, but with the rest of the movie, it's not at that level. Like it is almost like a greatest hits, but it's like a greatest hits of things that were done better in the other movies.
Yeah, it's a little clunkily put together.
I think the plot it really is just not a great plot.
No, they were clearly just writing around the stunts, which I know they do that for a lot of these, but I even thought that the stunts were better in Dead Reckoning, even though the two big set pieces here are fantastic.
I feel like,
okay, go ahead.
Barring the two big pieces that we're talking about, I think that the other movies have way more going for them.
Okay, well, look, let's get there. Let's give me your final thoughts, a rating, and a ranking. And we're really, not having watched a lot of them, there seems to be clear best favorite movie. Anthony, start with you.
Fallout's the best one.
Okay.
I'm not even Fallout is one of the best movies, one of the best action movies that's been released in the 2015 to 2020s.
Okay.
2010 to 2020s.
Okay.
I mean, it finished top 4 in our tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was top 2 or top 4. I forget. Fallout is amazing.
Okay.
So it hits that level. Fallout is that's the echelon that they got to. So for a franchise that started out as a Brian De Palma remake of a TV show, to get to that height is amazing, and it was great.
Yeah.
They try to make this movie almost endgamey with everything's been building to this point, and he's been the chosen one, and they do all the flashbacks.
Yeah.
The difference with Endgame is they actually knew that they were getting to the endgame.
Right.
Whereas this franchise, they just kept making movies and being like, oh, that was a good one. Let's do another one. Oh, that was a good one.
Do 2 more.
Christopher McQuarrie kind of came in and maybe made some semblance of a through line, but it's not really there.
Yeah.
So they end up with this movie where the plot is all over the place. It's convoluted. We already went into it. And ultimately, I found the movie, that part to be disappointing. I found the stunts to be really awesome. You still got Tom Cruise. He's charismatic as hell. So my final rating on this movie would be 6 out of 10.
Oh.
If it wasn't for that last stunt, which is amazing. That stunt, that whole set piece is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, this movie immediately dips to me to a 3 or a 4 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. If yeah. Okay.
I wish they had a better epic finale for him.
Right. Yeah. All right. Rugs. Where are you going to put this? What number? Final thoughts.
I feel like this is probably the worst Mission Impossible movie.
The worst?
Yeah, I would say it's. I enjoyed the John Woo one. I think it's tied with the John Woo.
Really?
One. Yeah. But I like the John Woo movie. I like that one. So I like this one too. It's because when you talk about Mission Impossible movies, they're all good. There's not one terrible. Even if you want to say, even that John Woo one, I still love it. I'll still watch it any day. I'll throw it on right now. I'll watch it. And I'll watch this. It's just long. But the thing that really brings it down for me is that it's so long. It doesn't need to be. If this was a 2-hour movie, even if it was ridiculous and bad, it'd be worth it to sit through the 2 scenes and just see Ethan Hunt fucking save the day once again.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it as low as Anthony. I'd still stick it at a 6.5 or a 7 even, but I would say 6.5 for sure. I feel like Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and all the way up to Fallout, and even Dead Reckoning Part 1 are all really good. They're all the cream of the crop as far as the Mission Impossible movies. I think Fallout and Rogue Nation are the 2 best ones. And then Dead Reckoning Part 1 and then Ghost Protocol. Actually, Ghost Protocol is really nice too because it's got Jeremy Renner in it.
Yeah, they had the 2 movies with Renner.
Yeah. So, and I like that they were trying to kind of make Renner his other guy that can do shit.
Yeah, then they he just disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of him, but I guess, whatever. But maybe Tom Cruise didn't want to fucking hand it off to him or whatever. I think that's what they were trying to do.
They were trying to do that, but he was like, nope.
Yeah. But I do enjoy all of them. I think that Fallout and Rogue Nation are the best. And then you got the other 2 on the wayside. The J.J. Abrams one is okay. The Brian De Palma one is a completely different kind of movie.
I mean, that's still a really good movie.
And I still think that's a good movie too.
Yeah, it's just
I
for
think that's a 7.
yeah.
So, so all of these are 6.5 and above. All right, so they're all
At least.
yeah. So, and as far as like the genre is concerned, like these are up there. Some of these are up there with any James Bond movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So
it is that level of franchise. Man, look, does this movie have problems? Yes, but Tom Cruise delivered. I got what I wanted. Well, I got what I paid to see, and it was thrilling. It was entertaining. It almost makes up for the fucking convoluted plot and shitty villain. Because he knows how to entertain, man. And I'm gonna give this a 7. It is not. Anthony's absolutely right. Fallout is the best one. That's absolutely number one. I would follow that with I would sandwich the McQuarrie movies. His 4 movies are the best. So I would go Fallout, then Dead Reckoning, then Rogue Nation, and then maybe Final Reckoning in that order. And then 4, 3, 2, 1. They're all really good.
You think all the McQuarrie films are better than anything else?
I think the McQuarrie ones are my favorite out of these. Yes.
I mean, they're good, but you think they're all you think they're all immediately top 4. That's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a case for that, but I don't forget about Brad Bird's movie.
But Ghost Protocol is great, but that's also because McQuarrie helped him do rewrites on that. That's his influence kind of started.
So he's kind of, so there is where you get some. Tom Cruise is doing great stunts there on the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, and he starts like the improv thing. He starts the plans going wrong and him having to figure things out.
Plans go wrong in that one.
That's what you want to see.
And he's got to improvise. So like a lot of that stuff that was the Abrams movie was more like a straightforward movie.
Yeah.
To kind of like get back out of the John Woo thing that was over exaggerated. And then they kind of found their groove with Ghost Protocol.
But fucking Fallout, the payoff from the characters they set up before with Ilsa Faust and then his wife. And I honestly think Solomon Lane is probably my favorite villain out of the whole series.
Whoa, over the third? Over
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Oh my God.
I mean, you got one movie with him. He was pretty dastardly, but the fact that in Fallout, he has to, he gets the plutonium, loses the plutonium, has to break out Solomon Lane, who he captured to get back the plutonium.
Solomon Lane, sorry to interrupt. Solomon Lane isn't even the best villain in that movie.
Who's the best villain in that movie?
Henry Cavill.
Oh, well, he's, the John Lark is also in there. But I don't know. He's better than the fucking entity in Gabriel.
Well, yes.
So.
Well, here's a question. So, and I heard this asked, and I have an answer to this, but I want to see if you guys have an answer. It's some people might say the original Mission Impossible is the best, but a lot of people think Fallout, or a lot of people agree that it found its footing later on, right?
Yeah,
like the Mission Impossibles.
Yeah.
Has there been any other franchise you can think of that it wasn't the first movie, but it was like the later films that really made it established as a good franchise?
Planet of the Apes? I don't know.
Which one?
You mean
the original, or are you talking about the new wave one?
Well, there was like the original series, and then they kept going, right? So,
but everyone remembers that first one with the ending. Oh, you did it!
Yeah,
damn,
right,
no.
right.
I don't think a lot of people remember the first. I mean, people remember the first mission, but no one. I don't know. A lot of people that I know think that's the best one.
What, the Brian De Palma one?
Yeah.
Well, it's an actual movie,
right?
Yeah.
You know, his whole fucking team dies
in the beginning,
and he's on his own.
Yeah.
And then by the end of that movie, everybody double crosses Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's
Ethan Hunt has like a man. He can't trust anybody, and so I think that writing wise is the best written movie, bar none.
And I mean, the stunt is iconic, hanging in the room.
Yeah, so there's a level of tension, and there is all that stuff.
But Fallout is the most balanced, I feel, like in terms of set pieces and story and pacing. Everything means something, and there's
it's
like
a completely
no filler.
different kind of film.
Yeah.
That's an action fest. Yeah. That is a thrill ride.
Yeah.
It's a different movie.
I mean, at the end of the day, the franchise, if this is the end, comes off with a semi-satisfying ending, but mostly kind of a fizzle. Maybe they ran out of steam. Maybe it was just too much focusing on these stunts.
I got a franchise that is very similar.
What is? I can't think of one.
That's because you have a small brain. No, I'm just kidding.
It's because I'm high as a kite.
That's because you're currently high. The franchise I actually think of is one that's in competition with it as far as the action movie franchises, and it's kind of fallen off now. But Fast and Furious.
I see. I think does the opposite. Like they figured out how silly and wacky they could go, and then that became its thing.
No, what I'm saying though is that wasn't the question. The question was what movies found itself to be gotten better as it went along. And they became better. Like the original wasn't actually what it became.
Okay.
Fast and Furious. The first movie is Point Break.
It's about
LA subculture racing.
Very grounded.
And then you get to Fast 5.
Right.
And it's a heist like action.
Right.
Epic.
But does it get better after that? Arguably.
No, but Fast 5 is clearly the best one.
Yes, so it does
the same thing.
But then
it's like Fallout.
But then it goes the other way instead of going
6 and 7 are good too.
Okay.
If you watch 6 and 7, those are both good. It got ridiculous.
Okay.
Which is where this is not unsimilar to what happened in this movie.
That's true. It's true.
If trust me, if they keep making Mission Impossibles, it's going to get weirder.
How more ridiculous can it get?
Yeah, the trajectory is always like there's a peak and then it falls off.
Right. So that was the first franchise I thought of where it was like, oh, this is similar to the arc that Mission Impossible had.
They didn't really know what it was going to be, and they kept
I do think that Fast and Furious is wildly different than the fifth version of Fast and Furious.
Yes.
They're wildly different.
Yeah.
And Mission Impossible's first movie and what we have now are wildly different. But the thing is, Mission Impossible on the second movie went out in outer space different. Like they were on a completely different, I don't know what movie that was. It had nothing to do with the first movie. Nothing. It was a completely big departure.
Well, it is similar, not the same. Trust me, not the same in terms of talent behind it. But when you get to Fast and Furious 3 and they're in Tokyo Drift with Lil Bow Wow, also pretty wildly in space at that point.
Well, look, instead of talking about Fast and Furious, let's talk about Tom Cruise.
All right, let's talk about
because this man's career is kind of bonkers, crazy, amazing, a dream career for an actor if you think about it. He's been acting over 40 years. Since 1981 was his first role. And if you just, he's got at least 52 credits to his name in his
52? Is that what it is? I thought he was in the 40s.
It was some places it says 48, and then I asked Google, it said at least 52. But 48 credits on IMDb, which is impressive considering, he's 62. But you can trace his career from being like the pretty boy heartthrob roles to the dramatic acting to just fucking straight on action star. His movies have made over $12 billion worldwide. He's one of the highest grossing actors of all time. Anthony, what are some of these directors he's worked with? Because if you look at this list, it's crazy that one guy got to work with all these people, and anybody will kill to work with at least just one of these directors.
Yeah, I mean, I think I brought up, and Rug Boy brought up too, leading up to the show, that we should do a little bit on Tom Cruise because he's just had a crazy career. But yeah, I mean, as far as some of the directors he's worked with, it's a who's who. He's worked with Spielberg, Scorsese, Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, Francis Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma, Barry Levinson, Oliver Stone, Stanley Kubrick, PTA, Christopher McQuarrie, Ron Howard, Rob Reiner, John Woo, and Cameron Crowe. Those are just to name a few. And yeah, you're talking about his career. I mean, he starts out as an 80s teen heartthrob, then goes into more serious, dramatic roles in the 90s, then goes into like really prestige roles in the early 2000s with Eyes Wide Shut, Magnolia, Vanilla Sky, then starts going into like big budget franchise / summer blockbuster, and then kind of loses his way with those.
Yeah.
And then decides I'm just going to become an action star now. And now is like one of the last action heroes. And then if you throw in Dead Final Reckoning Ends, his next film is with Alejandro Inarritu.
Yeah, he's got another
he's like
great
going back to like something weird. Like what a career. So I think the question for like you guys is like, what are your obviously just general thoughts on Tom Cruise? But then like maybe pick a movie from each decade that you like from Tom Cruise.
Man, I remember a lot of the public guffaws he's made along the way too, and how he's kind of managed to shake a lot of it off.
Oh, yeah, because he's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that Oprah moment when he was like he married Katie Holmes and he was excited, and it's a man showing excitement about being in love, jumping on a sofa, something that should be endearing, and ends up just playing weird.
Well, wait. Before you even get into like the weirdness,
yeah,
you also got to throw in the roster that this guy of women that he's been with is just insane as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's been with all the hotties.
Nicole. Currently, he's rumored to be dating Anna de Armas, but I think they're working on a movie together. But I don't know.
I thought wasn't he also rumored with Haley Atwell?
Oh, was he? Probably when they were making that. Married to Nicole Kidman for a long time, but then has a kid with Katie Holmes, right? I think Suri Cruz.
Oh, you're not even listening. He's been in a few marriages. He started with Mimi Rogers.
Oh shit.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
He was with Penelope Cruz.
Oh yes.
Well, see,
it's all his co-stars.
He's been with a lot of girls.
Sofia Vergara,
yeah. There's rumors of Cher, Rebecca De Mornay, Heather Locklear.
Man.
Yeah.
Taskmaster.
Oh yeah, he has been with Taskmaster. Holy shit.
Shakira, is that real?
I think that's a rumored one.
Oh.
So I don't know. Let's just start with 80s Tom Cruise, because I remember when I discovered him and started watching his movies, he was the best at what he did in every movie and got the girl. And it didn't matter if he was driving a NASCAR or mixing drinks, he would research and be the best at whatever that was.
What's your definitive 80s Tom Cruise?
Man.
I mean, Top Gun is the big one.
Top Gun is the one that, made him
I remember, like, Legend, he was great in that.
Well, that movie didn't do great, but it was his first, like, action kind of movie.
Yeah, I remember that, just him being... I remember every girl in my high school was like, did you see Tom Cruise in Legend? Because he had the long hair.
Yeah.
And he was, like, kind of like... It was a different vibe, and they were into him for that.
I mean,
that
okay,
movie.
look at this run, first of all, in the 80s, right? We're just going to start at Outsiders in 83. Then he does Risky Business, All the Right Moves, Legend, Top Gun, The Color of Money, Cocktail, Young Guns, uncredited, it says. But Cocktail, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July. And I would argue 80s is like, at the end of the 80s, his dramatic roles.
Risky Business is for me is his definitive 80s role.
You think so, man? I remember Rain Man was really good. Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July.
I remember Rain Man being a big one.
Born on the 4th of July was also good, but Risky Business was also made him iconic. I mean, everybody's seen him slide in his underwear, in his socks, and do that whole thing. Like, that's fucking an iconic scene that everybody knows, that copies.
So 80s.
Yeah.
Move on to the 90s now.
Oh my God.
List his 90s real quick. I'll list them.
Yeah.
Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Far and Away, A Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with a Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, Eyes Wide Shut, and Magnolia.
Man.
Interview with a Vampire was huge when it came out.
So many different kind of movies. Like Jerry Maguire, he makes Show Me the Money a thing. Solid
You
rom-com.
can't handle the truth.
You have A Few Good Men, and that whole thing is also iconic.
Oh, yeah, A Few Good Men.
Days
that was
of
big.
Thunder is a fantastic driving movie by that's Tony Scott, I think. And Eyes Wide
Music
Shut,
Nerds
Stanley
is,
Kubrick.
Tony Scott.
Yeah. Kubrick's last movie. I mean, he gets a chance to work with Stanley Kubrick on his last movie. And then Magnolia is a tour de force performance.
Right.
About
what do you think, Ruggs? What's your favorite of the 90s from Cruise?
I mean, I remember seeing Jerry Maguire, Interview with the Vampire, and of course, the first Mission Impossible, A Few Good Men. Born on the 4th of July it's an all right film, but I mean, Rain Man was my favorite one out of all of them.
Of the 80s and 90s, you're going Rain Man, huh?
Yeah, because it's right on the cusp. It's 1988.
Yeah,
so I remember seeing that in the 90s. But because none of these movies I saw in the theater, I was probably too young. I waited for it came on HBO, so probably a year later. So yeah, I remember seeing that in the 90s and thinking it was a really good movie.
I would say 90s, Jerry Maguire is like his definitive 90s.
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire.
Or A Few Good Men was the second. What about you?
I like A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
But I think A Few Good Men is Tom Cruise,
It's ensemble.
yeah, and Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
I don't know. He was Lestat, man. He was just that vampire movie's great. I gotta watch it again.
Then we go to the 2000s. Things get a little shaky, but still there's some solid
You
hits.
got Minority Report.
So we'll just do 2000s to 2010s. Mission Impossible 2, Vanilla Sky, Minority Report, a cameo in Austin Powers, Goldmember, The Last Samurai, Collateral, War of the Worlds, Mission Impossible 3, Lions for Lambs, I never heard of that, Tropic Thunder, Valkyrie, Night and Day.
Well, 9 days.
Oh, we'll stop. 2010. Valkyrie, 2008.
So this is a weird era because
this is a weird era
where he's still doing the weird shit.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do the prestige stuff like Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
But then he's getting involved in like these big blockbuster type movies.
So Minority Report, fantastic. Vanilla Sky, Cameron Crowe didn't really work that well. Collateral, fantastic Michael Mann movie where he plays a hitman, like a
I didn't
straight
even
up
list Michael
villain.
Mann as one of his directors he's worked with.
Yeah, and Doug Liman several times. We haven't even got to his movies. But if you've not seen Collateral,
I gotta
fantastic.
say Collateral. I haven't seen it.
Steven Spielberg, War of the Worlds. It's actually not bad. Tom Cruise does a great job as a dad, trying to protect his family. And then he does Mission Impossible 3. And then Tropic Thunder. I didn't even know that was him when I saw the movie the first time. He's Les Grossman. Have you seen this, Anthony, where he's an agent? Yeah. Unrecognizable almost. And I think the first time I watched the movie, I had no idea. And it hit me way later. I was like, holy shit, that was fucking Tom Cruise. I would love to see a whole movie with him as Les Grossman. I'd like to see him return to something like that.
Do you think this is kind of a hot take here? Do you think this is his worst era?
I kind of do. I think so.
I mean, he's always got like good performances, but the movies
more
in this
hits
era,
and misses in this one. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I would say it's all over the place, but he's still taking swings. And I mean, The Last Samurai was a big deal when it came out. I remember Collateral was a good movie when I remember, but I remember Minority Report being a huge blockbuster, and The War of the Worlds being a huge blockbuster.
Yeah, those were big.
Yeah. So as we move into the 2010s, now between Mission Impossible 3 and around Mission Impossible 4, this is when the jumping on the sofa happened. This is when he comes out a little more with his Scientology. You can look up, he does this interview with Matt Lauer, basically saying psychiatry is false and dumb and you don't need it. And they fooled everyone and saying crazy shit. And then very quickly after that, he realizes, like, I probably shouldn't say shit. And you don't see him doing that much after. So in 2010, you get Night and Day, then Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Rock of Ages, Jack Reacher, Oblivion, Edge of Tomorrow, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Jack Reacher Never Go Back, The Mummy, American Made. Then you get Fallout, and we'll stop there. So 2010s, also very interesting.
Up until that Mummy comes out,
So
he takes a big hit with the
The
Mummy.
Mummy was a huge fucking disaster.
The Mummy and the sequel to Jack Reacher.
Yeah, even I don't know. I have not seen the Jack Reacher movies. Rugs, are these any good?
The first one's not terrible.
The problem with Jack Reacher, the first one, is everyone that read the Jack Reacher stuff was just yelling, "That's not Jack Reacher."
Right.
It's not. It's Tom Cruise.
Alan
It would be
Ritchson.
similar to when Keanu played Constantine. It's like,
Right.
that is not Constantine.
Alan Ritchson is Jack Reacher, clearly.
Right.
It's a different body type.
For real. That's the real Jack
Out of this
Reacher.
set, I will tell you two of my favorite Tom Cruise movies in here. Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, great movie.
I really need a sequel. Doug Liman and the crew get back together. Give me another one. And American Made, if you've not seen this movie, is slept on. Is a fucking great movie based on a true story of this guy, Barry Seal, who was smuggling drugs for the government. It's really good. He's fantastic.
I didn't think Oblivion was bad either.
You know what? I've not seen. I got to check that one out because it's also Chris McQuarrie, I believe. That's where
It's not like a great movie, but it's
Oh, no.
definitely a 6.
This is
6
Joe
and a half.
Krasinski who does Top Gun Maverick. Oh.
Yeah, some of these I haven't seen, so you guys are a little more have more depth when this stuff. But I mean, Edge of Tomorrow and Fallout for me are the huge standouts there.
Yeah, by the time you get to Fallout, Edge of Tomorrow.
But look how many action movies he's been doing, though.
Oh,
He's got at least 20 to his
Well, and
credit.
just to finish up, since Fallout, he gives us fucking Top Gun Maverick, makes $1 billion. And then Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Final Reckoning. So,
yeah, I mean, the kind of career.
It's crazy.
Where he's this teen heartthrob to this kind of wacky guy, and then to very serious movies to now action star. I mean, there's not a lot of guys I can think of that have had that kind of career. The only guy I can think of who I think is actually a better actor, the only guy that has that range of movies that's still around is Denzel.
Yeah.
Right? Like Denzel is kind of doing similar things, but he's not jumping out of planes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Ruggs, you mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I think it's an important part is that after that little bit of him talking about Scientology, he stops shoving he's just about the movies. Any interview.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
else.
he kind of pivots.
He's smart.
He's like, you know what? My job is to entertain people.
And he gets
and that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I want you to go to the movies and be entertained. And I want you to go in there and with Top Gun Maverick, you're doing something with the fucking military.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's like a very hard thing to unpoliticize because the minute that you're going in, you're bombing. What country are you bombing? Why are you bombing them? Are they good? Are they bad? That's like a whole quagmire of getting into politics.
You don't even deal with that.
And they fucking sidestep it
They just
brilliantly.
gloss over that.
And you know what? It's not about that. It's about getting the guy home. Let's get everybody back. Let's do the mission and come out with the least amount of fallout. So he kind of really intelligently learns to navigate that what his job is. What is the job for a giant movie star to do? Put asses in seats, entertain the fuck out of them, go the fuck home. And that's it.
It was a smart PR pivot because he got too weird.
Yeah.
And then what he did was shut the fuck up.
And people forgot about it.
And then, well, not only that, but then when COVID hit and they wanted to release Maverick and he said, fuck you, this movie belongs in movie theaters. He pivoted from crazy guy with all the girlfriends to I'm going to save movies. And I'm going to preserve the movie theater experience.
He was still crazy guy, but it was for a different reason.
Oh,
you had that rant in COVID. Remember that audio?
It's a fact that he's nuts.
Right.
But he's passionate.
Yeah, you heard him yelling at everybody during COVID.
Yeah, that was great audio. That's up there with the Christian Bale, fuck's sake, amateur.
But it's all pointing to, and he even like Sinners came out and he put out a tweet. You'll go watch Sinners.
Yes.
Like he is pivoted to I'm crazy, but I'm fucking passionate about this art.
Yeah.
And you need to go support it every time I make a movie. But not only me, you need to support anytime anyone puts a movie out there.
He may have single-handedly saved the fucking theaters coming out of COVID and sticking to his guns.
With Maverick.
Yeah.
So the reason I thought about the Tom Cruise, just us doing a little thing, is I was listening to The Big Picture, which is a podcast about movies, of course.
Yeah.
And they did a Tom Cruise movie draft.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing this. I've seen this.
Yeah, where they did, they looked at all his movies and then they picked categories similar to what we did with the sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just for fun, real quick, here were the categories.
Okay.
That they had to pick from, picking the movies we just listed. So everyone had to pick one 80s movie, one 90s, one 21st century. Now here's where it gets weird. One movie where he does a sports thing, so something sporty in the movie.
Okay.
One movie that was nominated for an Oscar in any category.
Okay.
One Mission Impossible movie.
Oh shit.
One blockbuster, meaning it had to have done 100 million or more.
Okay.
And one wild card movie.
Oh man, that's fun.
Yeah. And they were able to fill all those categories.
Like I don't know if you can pick like the best Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, that's a good question. What is the best Tom Cruise movie?
It depends what you're looking for.
Like you're talking about just best made movie that he ever was in.
I think that's subjective, right? Like, what is the best? What would you consider best?
It might be fucking Fallout, honestly, or fuck.
Well, if you like action, yes. But I mean, if you're wanting
if you want
best
drama,
movie,
good acting,
Few Good Men,
fuck,
Eyes Wide Shut, Magnolia, Vanilla Sky.
Those are all weird. Those are like weird movies. Man, this is like Edge of
Rain
Tomorrow.
Man.
I would put up there also. I don't know. Rain Man.
What do you think, Ruggs?
I don't know. I mean,
Do you have a favorite Tom Cruise? If someone says, "What's your favorite?" What's the first movie that pops in your head?
Well, I don't know. That's it. I would go to Mission Impossible movies because those are my favorite kinds of movies.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to talk about like his best movie, where like I feel like he iced his acting and whatever, I don't know. That's a good question. I would say I love Top Gun, Maverick. I love Rain Man a lot. Jerry Maguire is good. Yeah, it's hard to decide which one is the one.
It's really hard because you got to think about performance or just enjoyment overall. Man, he's done everything. I want to see him do some more comedy.
Is there anyone else like Tom Cruise?
He's our last.
Be a one of one.
I think right now there isn't anyone comparable to him, really. He may be our last
who's got the same mission. Pardon the pun. As Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise's mission became to be the ultimate entertainer, right? To make the best movies, get quality movie making back into the.
I mean, he's producing, he's paying for this. Like
the guy I think of, I mentioned Denzel. I don't know if Denzel is at the same rate as Tom anymore. The guy I can think of that's still like that has that kind of ilk is Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio. But Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't do the stunts.
No.
It's like in my opinion, Leo's a better actor than Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But it's like you're taking a level below Leo, but then also combining him with Jackie Chan. It's like, who else is doing this shit?
I mean,
Keanu
kind of in terms of the action, but he's not the actor.
No, I mean, Brad Pitt could probably do it, but he doesn't.
He's not risking his fucking pretty boy face. Get the fuck out.
No, but I mean, I don't know if he's producing as much.
And then the follow-up question, how much longer? He said he wants to keep doing this until he's 80. How much longer can his body take this? A couple of things coming up. He's doing dive training with Ana de Armas for this movie that's called Deeper, that follows an astronaut who encounters a terrifying force while in a deep dive. And they're also working on some space movie with SpaceX that they're going to fill in space. So how much longer will we get another Mission Impossible now that there is a stunt Oscar category? How much longer can he do?
I feel as if I've heard this on another show, but I think it's true. I feel Tom Cruise would be so fulfilled if he did a movie and died doing it.
He actually died, and they used it.
And they used the footage.
I mean, in Fallout, he breaks his ankle, and they use that take because it looks great in that jump, and it's Jackie Chan level.
There's no one like him.
There really isn't. He is one of a kind.
The whole package, right?
Yeah,
it's the stunts.
Yeah.
It's the dramatic acting. It's the weird energy.
But he's also very charming in person and personable.
Yeah, it's the weird, charming energy. Yeah. It's the Scientology. It's the roster of women that he's fucked.
Yeah. People still lose their mind when they see him, right? He's still got it. It's kind of crazy.
He's one of the lasting movie stars.
I mean, I saw him on Jimmy Fallon the other night, and they were playing games, and he's just really charming. And of course, Jimmy's not going to ask him any hard questions, so it's all handled very safely and well, and promotes the movie.
Apparently, one of the things I read too about Tom Cruise is if you're interacting with him on set.
Yeah.
Apparently, I mean, this is just rumors, right? Could be fucking made up. That he is very present when he talks to people. That charm you see on TV is evident with anyone he works with.
Have you heard about the Tom Cruise birthday cake?
No.
If he knows,
is it like the birthday cake in Under Siege? Because I'm in.
It does not have a naked.
Oh wow, that's a great birthday.
Whatever her name was, pop out of it.
Erica Eleniak
does not have a naked Erica Eleniak. But if he knows you and he knows your birthday, he will send you this one specific cake for the rest of your life. It's a Tom Cruise cake. It's well known in Hollywood, and people are like, "Have you tried the Tom Cruise cake? Did you get the Tom Cruise cake?
The cruise cake.
It's the cruise cake." Yeah. But that's the kind of guy he is.
But he's also weird.
Yeah. He's also
there was a couple of things on Twitter where he was doing the press tour for this, and he's just talking to anybody.
Yeah.
He's talking to anybody he can talk to.
We probably could have got him on this fucking podcast. I should have tried.
He's talking to the crew. Yeah. He's talking to people. He's talking to the fans. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get. I think maybe he was out of touch for such a long time that he's trying to get back in touch. maybe he's at this stage of his life where his own kid doesn't talk to him. I heard that Sterling Cruz does not fucking fuck with his dad at all.
That's like a whole thing.
I feel like that mid 2000, late 2000s to early 2010s.
Yeah,
I think he was kind of trying to find what kind of actor he was and maybe what kind of person he was, and he got a little lost. And the vibe I get is that, one, he's doing the things he wants to do, and two, he's just super appreciative that he gets to do the things he wants to do.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the vibe I get, is that this guy is just very happy that he's in this moment right now.
And the beauty is, he's like, I want to do this crazy thing. He doesn't have to worry if the producers are not going to let him, because he's the fucking producer. So he gets away with everything. But do we all agree that possibly John Woo, Mission Impossible 2, is the moment that sets him on this course?
I don't know if we talked about it, but that Woo was talking about in the interviews for Mission Impossible 2 that Tom insisted on doing those that free climbing stuff.
Yes, that jump and everything, and they didn't want him to do it.
And John Woo literally couldn't watch the screens that were filming him because he thought he was so scared that he would kill himself and he'd be sued.
I mean, I imagine every director he's worked with on these movies goes through that. They're like, I can barely watch this. He's going to fucking kill himself.
I mean, the first Mission Impossible, he does do that stunt, but I will agree that maybe there might be a small part where John Woo has influenced.
I think so.
Working with John
I think
Woo
we're forgetting Jackie Chan too, because Jackie Chan, he did his own stunts.
Yeah.
And that was what everybody said about every movie. He's like, he's doing his fucking own stunts. I think maybe that had to. The fact that he was going to a Hong Kong director and wanting to do a movie, because look, Tom Cruise, he got the rights to Mission Impossible.
Yes, he's from the very beginning. From the first movie.
To do this.
Yes,
he wanted to be the American James Bond.
Yep.
And he wanted to have his own action. He wanted to do this. He wanted this for himself.
Yeah.
So when he goes and brings a Hong Kong director to see, if he can do what Jackie Chan does, I think that was maybe like a challenge for him. He's like, well, I want to be the best at stunts.
Yeah.
But he took a risk on a lot of these directors. Other interesting notes. Mission Impossible 3 is J.J. Abrams' first feature film. Mission Impossible 4, Brad Bird's first live-action movie. He was just doing Pixar animated things.
Right.
So
Incredibles.
Yeah, like Incredibles. So he's taking a risk on these two, and then by the time we get to the next one, he gets McQuarrie, who's writing on Ghost Protocol. And then those two just click, right? So I think it was something when meeting John Woo sent him on this course. I'd like it.
He's had a very fascinating career in him.
Listen,
I don't know how much more we're going to get of him. Apparently, he's going to go till he's 80.
Keep him coming, Tom.
But I think he's. I'm
here for it.
I'm interested in anything he puts out at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Sounded very sad and emotional. I got a couple of comments about the movie from our listeners from our Facebook group. You can join it. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Listeners. Jock and Nerd. It's a closed, exclusive group just for you. Scott Swanglorum from Mostly Superheroes podcast said, saw it a few weeks ago. Very good. Leans pretty heavily into the previous movie and some of the others. Lots of great action. All gas, no breaks. Probably not my favorite in the series, but top 5 for sure. I think it's in the top 5. I think it's in the top 5.
Wait, say that again. What's in the top?
I think it's in the top 8.
Top 5. He says top 5 for sure if I don't remember. Top 8? Wait, there's only what? Would you is it in the top 5?
I mean, it's out of 8 movies, but all right.
Do you think it's in the top 5?
You're not really going on a limb on that one.
It's better than at least 3 of them. David Zika says, unpopular opinion, the first one was the best written, but people didn't like it because they had to pay attention to actual espionage, and it didn't lay out who all the good guys and bad guys are at the beginning.
I agree with you.
I agree as well.
It is the best written.
I agree. Also, the first one, for me, it was tough to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because I've seen these other ones. So I went in with the expectation that it was similar to those.
Does not start like that.
And I think there's a large part of the audience similar to me.
Yeah.
Or even, younger
Yeah.
that of the Mission Impossibles they've grown up with are the Christopher McQuarrie ones. Like
And I
don't know if they've gone back and seen.
No,
these
I
other-
think if you grew up with those and you go back and watch the first one, you're gonna be disappointed a little.
It's like if you're gonna watch a Brian De Palma film,
But it's
you're
Brian
gonna watch
De Palma.
Scarface or fucking Carlito's Way.
Remember Snake Eyes with Nick Cage?
Snake Eyes.
It's like the same
He's
movie.
a different kind of director. He's not. He's
a lot
not
of
doing
Dutch
that.
angles and close-up shots.
Imagine. I mean, think about just a Gen Z kid.
Yeah.
Grew up on the McQuarrie films.
Yeah.
And they go, you know what? I want to go back and watch the Mission Impossibles from the beginning. They watch a Brian De Palma into a John.
The fuck is this? What is going on?
It's like Whiplash.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they're probably thinking, how did we get to this?
Like if you start at the third one,
Yeah,
you got smooth sailing.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Right? Because they're all kind of just like they're all kind of alike.
Right. Not
But
those
yeah.
first two.
Yeah. They're completely different movies, which is why it's fucking wild.
There's no team on the second one.
The second one is like the weirdest anomaly.
The team was like like Luther's there, but that's about
It's
it.
the weirdest one of them all. And Luther is in all of them. I got to 4 and he wasn't in it. I was like, wait, I thought Luther. And he shows up at the very, very end when they're drinking beer. And I was like, there he is. He is in all of them.
He's like, I was taking his shit.
No, I don't know. They paid him $20 for that movie. He's in it for like 2 seconds. And then finally, I got Sebi Ravi saying, I enjoyed it, but I was surprised how much downtime there was between action scenes. Basically, the whole midsection was just one group after another engaging in piecemealed exposition meant to drive home the urgency of the situation. And it wasn't until the last 30 minutes when Cruz finally sprung into action to resolve things. And even though most of the movie felt like it was going to be the final mission, the end scene where most of the team survives and Cruz walks off into the night seemed like it was leaving things open for more missions. Overall, it was good, but Fallout still remains the franchise peak, in my opinion. Yeah, I think we all agree. But the Fallout is the peak. I feel like Dead Reckoning is close. I mean, that yellow car chase is fantastic. The
yellow car chase is hilarious.
The bike jump into the base jump is great. And then just like, it's so funny how they don't have to film him landing on the train. He just crashes through the window. But then that whole train bit at the end, crawling through the cars as they're falling, is good.
Very
good. That's good. Very good.
Fucking very good.
I think that movie's not bad at all. That Reckoning.
I think it's better than, it's better
I like
than
Dead Reckoning better than this one.
overall. It's better overall than Final Reckoning. But the stunts in this one are just fucking top notch.
Yeah, it's a step down, but you know what? You had a peak. Now the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
one is, so the way a peak works is you got then everything that's next
Everything
is
peaks.
So
Well, peaks, yeah, and then it gets a little bit worse, a little bit worse.
Just a little bit. Just a slight, but Fallout definitely was firing on all cylinders. So, all right, fun time talking about Tom Cruise. Love this franchise. This week's mission, should you accept it, listener, Karate Kid Legends. I don't think a lot of people are going to go see this movie. We will be reviewing
Not getting
it.
a ton of hype.
We got Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, speaking of Jackie.
Yeah, we will see him. And I'm just trying to look at some early reactions. They weren't great. But it's Karate Kid. I need to see it. I even watched the 2010 one to get ready for this. So let's go. Let's go.
You should watch. You really want to appreciate the Karate Kid.
Yes.
You should watch the Martial Arts Kid.
Oh, yeah.
Talking
What
about
is that? It sounds like a generic ripoff movie, Ruggs.
exactly what it is.
Martial Arts
I reviewed
Kid.
it on our Patreon. If you want to check that out,
Where is it? What is it on? Amazon?
it's on Amazon Prime, where all the dog shit movies are.
I can't believe they made a movie just
If you
called
want to watch a piece of shit movie? It's on Prime.
The
I
Martial
guarantee it.
Arts Kid. The most generic thing.
Starring Hayden Panettiere's little brother. Sydney Sweeney's in it for a hot second.
That's crazy.
The girl who plays Ant-Man's daughter.
Oh, Cassie. Oh, yeah.
With the big rabbit
Yeah.
teeth. She's
Newton. Catherine Newton.
Yeah, she's the love interest.
Is it good?
No, it's fucking horrible. But I can't. And it's got Don the Dragon Wilson, Cynthia Rothrock is in it, Chuck Zito, fucking all these people are in this movie, and it's so bad. And the worst part about this movie, the thing that makes it really bad, besides the acting, the directing, the music, which is the music is terrible, but the biggest problem with this movie is the bad guy. They don't have a Johnny Lawrence. They don't have a proper Johnny. They have a fucking douchebag that sucks at acting and has a gut and not cool. I don't believe that guy could beat up anybody.
Well, look, we will find out if Karate Kid Legends is better than that movie. It may not be. It's possible. We will know exactly a week from right now.
I know we're gonna have to do the review. I will. Hopefully, I won't. It won't ruin it for me. It won't ruin the franchise.
Listen, everybody, I'm gonna go in low expectations, have a good time, and watch New Karate Kid. In the meantime, listener, check out our website, jockandnerd.com, for how to get in touch, how to support. Also, check out the episode description where you can find out how to get in touch with Rug Boy. Rugs, where can they find you online?
Rug Boy Show on Twitter, on X.
It'll be right there. And Anthony is now at Alaho.
That's right.
I like the way you said that in your Instagram.
I'm an Alaho. I don't. But here's the funny thing: they still haven't released tickets for Karate Kid Legends. So I don't know if they're going to show it.
They may not show the Karate Kid.
I don't think they're going to show it.
Which is
I might have to go to Regal around
which
here.
will be interesting. But that's it for this week. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
You peeps. I really don't give a shit.
My balls was hot. Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Jock and Nerd.